Welcome back to another video. My name is Abby. If you're just joining me, welcome back to those who have watched before. And if you haven't done so, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, which is gonna let you know when I release new stuff. And like this video if you like it, it will help spread the message. So what we're talking about today is how does a law of assumption work and how it will change your reality. Let's break it down a bit. Assume, what are we assuming? Well, when we assume, we're taking on something. So if you know me, you know I love etymology. So the breaking down of the word is literally take on. What are we taking on? We're taking on identities of ourselves, how we identify ourselves in the world. We're taking on different concepts. So think about it possibly as, a jacket, right? You can go into a store and there's a multitude of different jackets you can put on, just the same as throughout your life you've had different experiences, and these different experiences are gonna help you form or force you to form or lead you to a situation that's gonna form a concept of yourself. That is, you're accepting and giving consent that that is true about you. And how it works is you're gonna have a multitude of assumptions, right? You're gonna have all these things you're taking on. Essentially your wardrobe, right? You have a jacket, you've got shoes, maybe a hat, a scarf, all these different components of how you identify in the world and who you accept yourself to be, how you think the world around you works. So you're gonna take that, all those assumptions, they're gonna form your self-concept. In this diagram I'm gonna show you, you can see that it's going to funnel your attention, and that attention is going to give it more power. Through that attention, you're gonna funnel down, and all those things that you're gonna give your attention to that are coming from your self-concept, that are coming from your assumptions, are now gonna prove to you that in fact you're right. So they're gonna fortify and give you more confidence that yes, what you are assuming to be is accurate. Now, what you need to understand that if you had a different set of assumptions, which would form a different self-concept, your attention would be shifted elsewhere, and the information, the evidence, the proof that you're getting that this is true would be different. So when you look at it and when you're thinking of, okay, well, my self-concept is absolute, it's permanent, it is absolutely no negotiating it, that's not accurate. You have something that you reasoned on when you were younger. Maybe somebody bullied you, maybe you had a poor experience with money, whatever it is. You formed a concept, you made an assumption that that's the way the world is, and that is what is true for you. And that's not accurate. If you take the time to go back and re-reason, that in itself, that small effort would make a huge difference because it would change your assumption. And we do have a multitude of different assumptions. But in Neville Goddard's law of assumption, he is talking about what it is right now that you want. What is the desire? What is the dream that you want? And he's telling you, assume that it has already happened. And then what is that going to do? In the example earlier, it's going to take your attention, it's going to shift it as if that was true, as if it was happening right now. And what is that going to show you based on what we already looked at? That you're going to start finding evidence that that is true. It's going to fortify that assumption. It's going to fortify that self-concept of you. And you are right now living that reality present. Even though it hasn't happened yet, you are feeling, you are assuming that wish, that dream has already been fulfilled. So when you are making assumptions that you don't want to do, maybe you're manifesting something in your life right now that you no longer wish to experience, if you keep your self-concept, if you keep your assumptions right now the same, it is working. The law of assumption is working in your life right now. What I'm here in this video's sole purpose is to help show you how to change your assumptions and how it works so you can start shifting the mechanics and make it beneficial to your life. So when you have these assumptions, well, that's gonna create and continue the circumstances and situations that you find yourself in right now. It's gonna consistently fortify that self-concept, which is gonna keep your consciousness level right where it is, which is the reason that what is manifested in your external world is happening right now because of your consciousness level, because of your assumptions, because of the concept you have of yourself. So you understand that what you're assuming, the concept of yourself, that is what you're seeing in the world right now. And moving into an assumption of your wish already fulfilled is the entire purpose of the law of assumption. So how can you start shifting this? How can you take advantage of this incredibly beneficial reality that we can experience? Your imagination is going to play an incredibly important part of this because it's what you imagine to be true that got you in your current state of law of assumption. You can just simply start asking yourself, what would it be like to have that reality happening right now? What would it be like to be financially abundant? How would my life change? What would it look like? What would my car be like? What would my clothes be like? What would an everyday experience feel like? And slowly but surely, you're going to encourage your brain to start thinking that way, which is going to form neurological pathways so that essentially you're practicing. You're already getting familiar with what that reality feels like. So when it happens, not only is it comfortable because it is, you've already practiced this, but you actually can recognize it when it presents itself in your life. Now, the key here for law of assumption is unless you're feeling that reality, that wish fulfilled, if you don't have the feeling, if you're just thinking about it, you're daydreaming. That is according to Neville Goddard. If you do not involve the feeling aspect of it, then the law of assumption is not going to work because you're just going to be daydreaming and your feelings really are staying in your current assumption. So as you're using your imagination to create these new concepts of yourself, you don't want to resist the old concepts. You want to renounce them. And what's the difference? Well, resistance is using your attention, which we talked about, is huge. You need your attention because that is what's going to grow in your life. That is whatever you put your attention on, and I'll link the video above that I made about the power of your attention. But when you focus your attention on something, it is going to grow. So if it's something that you don't want and you're resisting the old concepts, you're putting your attention into it and you're making it get bigger. That will still be the dominant aspect of your life, even if you don't want it. So we don't want to resist it. We want to renounce it, which is stop giving it our attention. We want to shift to what we do want, assume that that wish is filled now, pour our attention into it, make it get bigger. Going back to that diagram, our attention is going to go in, it's going to give us evidence, and it's going to fortify our self-concept. As our self-concept changes, our consciousness level is going to change because we're starting to experience new truths. So our outside physical realm manifestation has to change because our consciousness level changes, and all you're experiencing right now in your life is what you grant truth to. So if you believe it to be true that you don't have enough money, if you believe it to be true that you'll never get in a situation that would allow you to be financial abundant, and this would not be in your conscious mind, this would be deep subconscious. So it's really important to start asking yourself, when is the first time you felt these things? What was your environment like? You know, if it has to do with money, if it has to do with your body, if it has to do with relationships, what was your model, your foundational model of what that is supposed to be like in the world? Because when you rewind that way, you get a lot of clues as to why you feel subconsciously or think subconsciously the world is supposed to be like that for you. So realize also that everything in your life right now is from imagination. You imagine that your self-concept is what it is right now. Out of a series of imaginations, you kind of played things out. You took other circumstances and you brought them in. You kept this framework in your imagination and put it on different things. That is why you still have it. And so your self-consciousness, Neville says this, and I think it's so brilliant, is what you're manifesting is fruit of forgotten blossom time. Now that wording is a little bit funny, but what I take it to mean is you went and you harvested all these seeds, all these concepts of yourself, all these assumptions, and now they're sprouting up and they're bearing fruit. That fruit could be a really bitter person. That fruit could be a lack of money. That fruit could be endless loss of job opportunities. But the thing to realize in your power that you can have in your life right now, utilizing the law of assumption, is that you planted those, whether you realize it or not. Understanding how you got there and controlling the power of your attention, putting yourself in that wish fulfilled, is going to be what is then going to shift what seeds you put in the ground, and ultimately you're going to get different fruit, different realities, different manifestations in your life that, if you do it correctly, is going to align with what you really want to experience. But it comes to attention, it comes to assumptions. What are you assuming and feeling that is true, and you're giving the consent that it's true in your life right now? And really, what to remember about the law of assumption is whatever it is you're dreaming of, you're desiring deeply, you're longing for, it already exists. And Neville himself says that the way to end longing is by being. So if you really want to experience financial abundance, if you really want that dream relationship, you shift into being it now. And that is how you get rid of the longing. Again, I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard that in the law of attraction specifically, whatever it is that you're projecting out, you're giving out this broadcast, I don't have this. Oh, okay, she doesn't have this. I don't have money. Okay, gotta reflect that in the world. Don't have a relationship. Okay, reflect that in the world. If you move into the being aspect, you are it now. There's nothing left the universe can do but echo that in your physical reality, in your 3D reality. So if you want to end longing, you do that by being. If you want to move from your dreams into reality, you do that by being it now. You do that by using the law of assumption and assuming that wish to be fulfilled, feeling that truth, staying with that truth, putting your attention on that truth, and making that bigger, more dominant in your life. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If so, subscribe. I'll let you know when I release my next videos. And please like it if you liked it, share it with those that it might help, and I will see you on the next one.